Hey guys, welcome back on the channel. So incredible news for not only Solana users but also DeFi users because Jupiter just launched their public beta for Land. The most advanced money market on Solana has arrived, built with OX Fluid. After weeks of testing, audits and feedback, we're launching with 40 plus vaults and 2 million plus in incentives from Jupe, Fluid and partners. Okay, so let's run the video. This is Jupiter Lending being announced. Supply assets in one click. So you can supply assets already gets you to earn passive income, and you can borrow against your assets. They will be your collateral. Liquidation fees as low as 0.1%, protected by risk isolation. But of course, do keep in mind that when you're borrowing against your collateral, there's a level of leverage that comes into play. All right, so you get the idea. Let me show you how the platform is looking. So once you land on Jupiter, you can see now the Land tab is highlighted. It's on beta. And you can essentially use a couple of different tools. The most basic and less risky is Earn. In here we can deploy different types of crypto. Stablecoins in the shape of USDC, USDT, EURC, USDG, which is giving a lot of incentives right now, and USDS. The only volatile asset so far is Solana, but in the future, as this develops, more will be available. I'm pretty sure about that. The APY for Solana is the lowest, of course, 0.93%. This can change, by the way, and the way it works is that as people are lending those assets, the interest, it's going to be compounded into your position. So that's why it's showing here APY. And if you're looking for the best APY here, you get it right now with USDC. I believe pretty much all of these positions from stablecoins are being incentivized. So yeah, you see this one, 7.3% incentives. This one, it's 9% incentives. This one, 8, USDG 7%, and USDS 9.2%. There's even very handy FAQs here. Jupiter does a great job when it comes to explaining users how everything works, even for complete beginners. So take a look at those, see what's for you or not. But there's other tabs like here on Borrow. This is where you get a loan against your collateral. So the stuff that you deposited here, this will be your collateral, right? So we can come back to the Borrow tab and borrow against that. Once you start using, you'll see the dashboard updating here your total supply, your total borrow. This is the current total supply for the platform and the active loans. With less than 1 day of Jupiter being announced, it's already showing over $330 million in total supply and 220 in active loans. So I expect this to just keep on growing into the near future. Again, if you want to know more, there's the FAQs accessible down here. I like it a lot because they tell you in a very simple language how everything works, even let you know all of the risks involved. Smart contract risk, market risk. So there's definitely risk to this type of markets, but it's still a great way to leverage and get access to some capital, which is already earning you yield. So you don't necessarily need to sell your Solana, for example. You can supply it here and then borrow some USDC against it. If you want to deposit, for example, into some other DeFi opportunities, or if something shows up that you need to finance yourself, you can actually use this to do so without selling your crypto. BTC based also gives you options with BTC, and the incentivized vaults can actually give you even better deals because you're not going to pay the full borrow rate. At some point, it can even be negative, and if that's the case, you're actually receiving money in order to borrow against your collateral, which means you're being incentivized to take those loans since they are actually paying you to do so. There's also pegged vaults here, so these are for stables. The multiply tab gives us access to looped positions. They even show us how everything works. Multiply enables you to easily leverage exposure and amplify yields on your assets. When you open a position, assets are borrowed against your collateral and converted back into the collateral asset until your desired leverage is achieved. But pay close attention to this note. Multiply also increases your liquidation risk. So the more loops, that is more leverage that you're taking. Picture as you are building a castle made of cards. The more leverage means if one card falls down, everything can crumble. Essentially, that's it. But this is a very popular DeFi strategy that has been around since these borrow and lending protocols showed up in DeFi. So for example, you could deposit GLP, you borrow USDC against it, then you use that USDC you just borrowed to buy more GLP, deposit more, borrow more, and the more you do this rinse and repeat, the higher your leverage gets, okay? So different pairs will have also different max multipliers. This is 5x, very close to 8x here, 3.8x. The max multiplier will pretty much depend on the type of assets you're getting exposed to. We can see here, for example, that this vault is already topped. Total borrow 6.2, so we cannot use it anymore unless someone takes their position out and opens room for someone else. But interesting stuff here, we can have very interesting double digits supply rate for blue chip assets like GLP, like Sol. Interesting stuff here. Then lastly, statistics shows us everything about the platform, because remember, unlike centralized entities, everything that works in DeFi, this decentralized finance, is recorded on chain. So everything is verifiable, unlike the black boxes, which are centralized exchanges. So this gives us quick access to statistics, how much USDC is supplied, how much is it available to borrow, APYs, reserves, and not only USDC, but all of the tokens that are available for users to borrow and lend here on Jupiter. So these are great news, especially for Jupiter and Jupiter token holders. So if you're holding GLP, maybe Jup, this can definitely have an impact in the price of the tokens, since we're looking at bullish news for the Jupiter protocol. Alright guys, so this is what I wanted to share with you. Now you know there's another borrowing lending market available on Solana from a very reputable platform, which is Jupiter. And by the way, you might want to give them a follow. As you can see here, they do post announcements for new asset alert. Lombard BTC is now available as collateral for borrowing on Jupiter land. And this is it guys, another great option for DeFi users on Solana. This is what I wanted to share with you. Hope you enjoyed this type of content. If you took value from the video, you know the drill. Like and subscribe for more. Thank you for watching. Take care. Keep exploring crypto. I'll see you on the next one.